And I'm just starting off with the Prussian blue around the edges, kind of looking at the photograph for some inspiration, but using it as a reference. So I'm not going to exactly copy it, and I want to make this lovely and atmospheric. And using the wet and wet technique really does create sort of lovely atmospheric, dream-like sort of qualities in your painting. So I'm just sort of painting that wet in wet. Now this is the Prussian blue with the Paynes grey, wet into wet as well. This is some of the Ultramarine. I'm painting this wet into wet. So it's always good to have plenty of paint mixed up beforehand so you can freely paint. So I've dipped my brush into the Viridian with the Paynes grey, and I've actually mixed it with the Cerulean as well. And I am just going to paint this wet into wet. So it is a little bit softer than that sort of dark green colour because the Cerulean has lightened that green up a bit. I didn't want it too many darks to come forward just yet. And I'm just sort of picking areas where I can see sort of the slightly sort of greener, greyer colours as well, especially in the foreground. There's a little bit more green. And now I'm mixing up the Viridian with the Paynes grey now. And I'm just painting this damp into wet, so the paint isn't as wet as the previous washes. I'm just looking for sort of darker areas, especially in the foreground. You want to keep that sort of top area as light as possible. It's so easy to lose your light in watercolour. So I'm just applying this sort of dark green colour, damp into wet, just here and there in the foreground. I'm just getting a pinch of phthalo blue, and I've mixed it with the Viridian and a little bit of that Paynes grey to the right. And I'm painting this damp into wet here. So it's very much a blue grey colour. And as you saw there, I've used the tip of my brush to sort of pull out some sort of distant leaves and foliage there as well. And it looks very sort of misty in the background. I've swapped to a smaller brush because I'm painting smaller areas, and I've actually mixed up the yellow with the Viridian, so it's a very yellow green to start with, almost yellow with a hint of green, using my size 8 brush, painting damp into wet here, and just sort of targeting little sort of yellow green areas that I can see in the foreground. And now this is more sort of a mid green here, so that's the Viridian with the yellow, and I'm painting this damp into wet on top of some of that yellow, and also adding that here and there using my size 8 brush. I added a little bit of that phthalo blue to the green there, so it's a little bit more of a blue green colour, quite nice, especially for the distance. So still using that size 8 brush. The background is drying off a little bit, actually, I've noticed. So what you can do if that happens is you can spritz areas in your painting where it is drying too quickly. So just do this as a fine mist. Don't apply too much spritzing. You just want to dampen everything, and it works quite nicely. So again, applying some of that yellow green in the foreground, using my size 8 brush, painting damp into wet or damp into damp. And just painting their top left there, damp into damp, a little bit there in the centre as well. I'm mixing up some of the Viridian now with the phthalo blue. You can see the paint is a lot creamier, a lot less water in there, so I'm painting damp into damp. I've just added a touch more Viridian there. I felt that was too sort of blue. So, and I'm adding some burnt umber to the phthalo blue there as well. I wanted a darker green, one with more phthalo blue with the burnt sienna, and one with the Viridian, burnt sienna and the phthalo blue. So it's quite nice to get a bit of variety. You can see there I'm using the paper towel to take the excess paint off to make sure that my paint is damp and not too wet. If it's too wet, it will creep into your painting, and what happens is you get those cauliflowers and back runs. So this way it really helps prevent that from happening. It gives you more control, but again, if your painting is drying too much, just give it a gentle spritz. So I'm mixing up some phthalo blue here, and I've swapped to a smaller size 2 round brush, so it's quite a creamy mixture. And I'm adding a bit of burnt sienna to make a very sort of dark blue green, rinsing my brush there. And I'm just getting a little bit of raw sienna there, because I just spotted a bit of an earthy yellow in the painting, and I'm just painting this damp into damp just here and there, as you can see there. It's just quite nice just to get these subtle sort of colours just coming out, these lovely earthy colours. I felt it was a bit dry here, so I'm just spritzing in this area just to soften things so you don't get any hard edges. Using that phthalo blue with the burnt sienna, taking the excess paint as you saw there off on my paper towel, using the size 2 brush, painting damp into damp, the very sort of thin lines and twigs in the distance. So you just want to be really careful that you don't have too much paint on your brush, because you don't want those lines to spread too much. So you could paint this wet on dry if you're worried later on. Just use a very pale colour to do so. I'm not exactly copying the photograph, I'm just giving an impression of what I can see there. And what I'm doing now is I'm painting slightly darker colour, so it's just a little bit thicker paint, and I'm just painting this again damp into damp, just to have some darker twigs coming forward. They're still in the background, but you're kind of having this layering effect. And I'm doing the same in the foreground, still using that size 2 brush, still using the phthalo blue. You could use Prussian blue mixed with the burnt sienna, and you could use burnt umber if you don't have burnt sienna, and just spend a little bit of time sort of building up the detail in the background. So I'm going to use some sea salt. You can use table salt, and I'm going to sprinkle it quite evenly just here and there, not all over the painting, and that will create, once dry, light and textures. So I'm going to allow my painting to dry naturally to allow the salt to work. And as you can see there, I've got some lovely light texture effect, especially on the right hand side in the middle as well. I would have liked a little bit more at the top, but I think my painting dried too quickly. So I would suggest sprinkling some salt in the top part of the painting, which will dry quicker, because I didn't apply many washes to that area, which would have kept that area of the painting damp for longer. So I've got a clean palette and I've got some fresh water, and I'm mixing up the colours for the blueberries. So starting off with phthalo blue with some Paynes grey, and then ultramarine with some Paynes grey, and it's a milky consistency. And I'm using my size 8 round brush, and I'm painting each individual blueberry wet on dry, using the ultramarine with the Paynes grey. Remember, I have got masking fluid masking out the highlights there, so you can paint quite freely. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the phthalo blue with the Paynes grey, which is slightly creamier actually than the milky ultramarine and Paynes grey, and I will drop that at the bottom of the blueberry, so you've got sort of a dark, medium, and then you'll have your highlight for the blueberry. But later on in the tutorial, once the blueberries are dry, I'm going to paint some darker shadow colours underneath as well. So this you can paint quite freely and loosely. Some of the blueberries are darker than the others, because they're obviously shaded by the blueberry beside it or on top of it. So don't worry too much at this stage, just sort of have fun sort of painting these shapes. And what I ended up doing was I actually just sort of painted not just individual blueberries, but I started just sort of to paint the entire sort of shape of them freely, because I can add the darks and details later. You can see here I painted with the ultramarine with the Paynes grey first of all, that sort of lighter tonal value. Now I'm using the phthalo blue, slightly thicker, with that Paynes grey, and painting underneath some of the blueberries there, damp into wet, to let it bleed up slightly, so you get a lovely soft edge there as the sort of tonal value goes gradually from very dark to mid-tone to obviously the highlight, which will be revealed later when I remove the masking fluid. So I am wetting this corner here, which has some of the snow, with my size 8 brush, just with some clean water. So I'm going to paint the shadow on the snow there on the little branches. So I'm mixing up some Paynes grey, very watered down, with a tiny touch of the ultramarine, and I'm painting this damp into damp. I'm using my size 8 round brush. I'm just varying the sort of tonal marks here, and I'm leaving gaps for the underpainting to shine through the lighter areas. I'm also painting some very dark colours here, damp into damp as well, just using the Paynes grey on its own, and I'm actually just sort of painting some almost abstract-y shapes around the sort of left-hand corner here. You don't want to bring too much attention to it. You know there's twigs and leaves there, but you don't want the eye of your viewer looking straight in the left-hand corner. You want them looking into the painting, looking at that sort of misty sort of light in the distance, but also the beautiful blueberries as well. So I'm painting some very light marks in the foreground centre there, mixing up some yellow here with the phthalo blue. So it's a very sort of dark blue-green colour, and I'm just again painting in the foreground, sort of darker marks, damp into damp, sort of twigs, etc., but also sort of leaves, again very abstracted. Don't worry too much about making them look realistic. You're just sort of painting these sort of light, mid and dark tone marks, pretty much damp into damp in this area. This is some Paynes grey here, milky, and I'm just painting some very dark colours there. And you can afford to do so in the foreground because it brings it forward, darks against lights and just dark tonal values and shapes, etc. Whereas you look into that distance at the top there, it looks much further away. So I'm just wetting this area here around the sort of bluebells and dropping in some of that sort of blue-green colour, very blue-green. That's the phthalo blue with the yellow. And I'm just softening this bluebell here to the left. I felt it was coming forward too much. So don't feel you have to always stick with things that you've painted in watercolour. You can sort of change things, you can lift things off, but just try to resist doing too much of that though. And give things a chance to dry. They do dry so differently. So I'm just painting some abstract-y shapes here, negative shapes around the sort of main sort of branch here to the left, using some of those sort of pale blue-green colours. And I've decided to turn my painting upside down to paint these twigs. I just couldn't reach my arm across. I was worried about as well smudging the painting. So this way you can access it quite nicely. I'm using my size 8 brush, which is quite a large brush for these thin branches. You could use a rigger or a liner brush. Use the brush that you feel comfortable using. So I started off with a paler colour, that's the Paynes grey mixed with the burnt sienna, and now I'm using the Paynes grey on its own and dropping it in damp into wet just to create some dark areas on this twig. I'm just sort of painting some abstract-y areas here as well, just at the bottom of that twig. Turning my painting upside down again, and I'd just like to look at it as well just to make sure that I can see what I'm doing, but I found that tricky, so I've turned it back upside down and I'm just sort of painting this sort of main branch coming through the painting there, using some of the Paynes grey, this time with a little bit of the phthalo blue, so varying the colours and then again dropping in some darker colours, damp into wet on that branch there. Take your time and remember to breathe, especially when you're sort of painting these sort of wet on dry sort of branches right across the painting. So I'm painting this twig here, coming across again using the Paynes grey with the burnt sienna and just marking in some of the details there using the tip of my brush. I'm using some phthalo blue here with a touch of yellow, and I'm just sort of painting this leaf here in the sort of middle distance, wet on dry, just adding a little bit more of the phthalo blue with the Paynes grey to create sort of slightly darker colour. Don't worry too much about this, you just want to create sort of these soft details in the middle distance. I'm carrying on sort of painting these twiggy sort of branches there in the middle. I'm lifting off the masking fluid. I'm using a paper towel to rub it off and it comes off quite nicely. I'm going to use my stencil brush. You can use a hog hair brush or even a sponge just to soften some of the circles, because I actually outlined the circles for the bokeh effect, so you get this sort of lighter tonal value in the centre. I didn't do it for all of them, but I wanted to vary the different sort of bokeh circles that I had. And I find the stencil brush really good because the bristle bristles are quite strong, but you can use a magic eraser as well. You can buy these from DIY stores, and they are really helpful for getting marks off paintwork in your household, but they're really good at getting watercolour off, almost too good, because sometimes it can slightly scuff the paper. I'm using a natural sponge here as well, and I'll put a link in the description as well of a bokeh tutorial I made actually creating a Christmas bauble that you might find helpful with using this technique. But I'm using a circle stencil now to lift off the paint to get some really nice clean edges. I forgot to paint this twig in the foreground area, so I mixed up some burnt sienna with a touch of Paynes grey, and I'm using my size 4 round brush, and I'm painting wet on dry just underneath the twig there, because there's a little bit of snow on top, but obviously it could be light as well on top. So I'm just carefully painting there, mixing up a little bit more Paynes grey and dropping a little bit of dark just underneath there, here and there, to create some darks. I'm just going to darken up this branch here to the left using the Paynes grey with the burnt sienna. You could mix ultramarine with the burnt sienna, and I'm just softening there as well, adding a touch more dark just here and there, just to add a little bit more sort of detail and just to bring this forward as well, making it look a little bit more solid. Try to keep the darks at the bottom of the twigs and branches, but also to paint the darks on the left hand side because the light is coming from the right. So as you can see here, I've swapped back to my size 8 brush. I'm just painting a few more darks and details here using the burnt sienna and Paynes grey, and then softening with a clean damp brush so you don't get any hard edges, especially on rounded objects. Darkening up some of these blueberries, especially underneath, and then sort of blending with a clean damp brush. You don't have to paint every one the same as the other. For instance, the ones I'm painting here are quite dark, especially the ones that are behind some of the blueberries, so you can sort of really vary them, but you want to sort of bring the ones that are kind of in front a little bit more light and colour as well. So you might want to drop in sort of just a touch of ultramarine, but sort of blend and make sure you keep your highlight. However, if you do lose your highlight, you can use white gouache once the painting is dry. So I'm mixing up here a little bit of kind of a watery green, so you could use some yellow with the Viridian with a touch of the Paynes grey, or Paynes grey with yellow. And I'm just sort of painting some palish twigs and details in the foreground. They're not the stars of the show, they're almost like extras, but they're just there to create some more details. I'm using a little bit of artistic license because there's not a lot of this in the foreground, but I wanted to kind of push this sort of light back a bit, so I created a little bit more depth as well and some more details in this foreground. I've mixed up some Viridian and yellow here to make a mid green, and I'm just spattering just around the green areas to create some textures and details, and I'm doing that with some Cerulean blue as well, using my size 8 brush just around the blueberries area to create some lovely light sort of blue colours. I'm mixing up some white gouache now and a touch of phthalo blue just to make a lovely sort of opaque pale blue colour, and again I'm sort of spattering that around the blueberries, adding a touch more of that phthalo blue to the white, touch of water, and just spattering that as well, especially in the foreground and around the blueberries. And so that I don't overwork my painting too much, I am finishing off with a spatter of white, especially around the blueberries and just beyond, to create a lovely sort of atmospheric light effect. And I've removed the washi tape now just to give you a close-up of this painting. I've kind of simplified the photograph, and I wanted to create this atmospheric dream-like sort of landscape scene, but with the up-close blueberries. If you like this content and you'd like to support the work that I create here on YouTube, why not think about joining my Patreon membership? You will get access to exclusive tutorials and downloadable outline sketches, and you can cancel anytime. Details about the membership can be found in the description below. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.